The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another extra special edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Back in the saddle again. Anyway, we're out where a friend is a friend. Guess I bet not too many people know that song. But what do we have going on today? Well, a little bit of reversal of fortunes from yesterday. I suspect everybody believes that the market is going higher now after they probably dived in to the deep end without checking how deep it was. Not a recommended thing to do. Anyway, we're up 37.5 points on the S&P cash. That's 27.27 on the S&P cash. Dow's up 320 at 24,681. Nasdaq's up almost 70 at 74.66. This has been right in the area where we get fairly decent resistance. I suspect that we've had some distributions at this level. Fund buying, of course, started today. And I think we have a lot of that money that's probably in now. And I don't know if I'll have to look at the numbers tonight. But my guess is that they saw the dip and they decided to dive in while there was a chance. And I think that's about all you got to say about that. I think that there are some, via risk reward, right now there are a lot of stocks that are up on light volume. That have hit highs, that have the tide going out, at least in the way I look at them. Maybe I'm a little early. You never know. But added a couple of short positions today, not in the indexes. Those may hang up all week. But I think that there's some very nice setups in individual stocks that are way, way, way out over the tips of their ski, or going to have a reversal of fortune in their business. So I'm not really worried about much higher in the S&P here. I think that if we do go there, we're going to find a lot of buyers. And I got to sneeze. I think that was a 5 or 6 sneezer right there. It gets to that point of time this year where you just go out for a few minutes, you start sweating, you come back in, this nice, cool air conditioning, and that's it. Just need a few sneezes. Tex well, someone knew that song. The only reason I know it is growing up on an Air Force base, you could go and see 2 movies for a quarter on Saturday mornings. And they were all those old 40s and 50s, maybe even 30s. Charlie Chan. You go in there and see all those old ones in the base theater. And they just give us a quarter. We get on our bikes and go drive up there. Didn't have to lock our bikes. Didn't have to do anything. Just go up there. Spend Saturday morning at the theater. I always thought that there were ulterior motives for my parents to get us all out of the house. But you never really know. Anyway, up. Now, the big question is we had about 7.6 billion shares yesterday. Will we get there today? Right now, we're looking at 3.6 billion shares. Whoop, actually now 4 billion shares. I just updated it. So the question is whether we're going to get there or not. That's actually fairly good at 210. But I don't know if that's going to be 7.6 billion, maybe 6.8, maybe 6.7. It would really have to turn on a dime going into the close here today. I think a lot of people have already covered those shorts. As I said, I think a lot of individual stocks right now have set up as long as we don't see any kind of additional push this week, I think what we've seen is extremely bearish. Now, we could negate that with volume over the next couple of days. But my guess right now is that we've seen most, I'm going to say maybe half of the fund buying money come in. And I don't know if there's anything other to say about it than that. There are some opportunities out here with very little risk today for being short. Of course, there's nothing better than being short when everybody else has given up. And my guess is that if I was short going into yesterday and close yesterday, I would probably be running for cover today. And the last thing I would think about is shorting this market, which is almost always the best time short a market when everybody else thinks it's going higher and just got run out. So pretty big day yesterday. We'll talk about that. What else do I have going on here? How much time do I have? I got plenty of time. Let's do a little history, and then we'll get into what's going on in the markets.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1911, the inaugural Indianapolis 500 is run at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indiana. With The 200-lap, 2.5-mile race has become a Memorial Day weekend tradition, with the exception of a break in 1917, 1918 for World War I, and from 1942 to 1945 for World War II. It's been run every year since, and now is the largest sporting event in the world, attended by about 270,000 spectators and watched by almost 1 billion people. So what else do we have going on out here? I saw some very interesting news articles. I'm going to comment on those today. The first one I already had came from last week. I've been very nervous about being long any of the South African gold miners. Every week I see some kind of new article about probably the communist government taking over a great deal of things. Last week, it was many of the farmers leaving South Africa and going to Australia, worried for their lives. And that was, I think that was Monday or Tuesday. A lot of these guys that were the breadbasket of that country are vamoosing, literally afraid for their lives. But this one was the one that really got to me. I don't know if I have enough time to do this justice. But De Beers is going to start selling man-made diamond jewelry. 90% of their diamonds comes from South Africa. So why would De Beers start selling man-made diamonds? Now, some people are saying, hey, they're going to try to get in front of other people. I don't know if that's been that big of a problem so far. But guess what? If there was going to be political upheaval in South Africa, and 90% of your product came from South Africa, maybe you'd be looking for a door, any door, where you could go out and do things. We'll talk more about this, but diamonds may not be a girl's best friend much longer.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Well, communists in South Africa are running out of money, and of course, the first thing they did was start to pass a law to go after and throw farmers off their land, take their land and their everything else that they have. So that's why we're seeing some of these guys exit stage left to Australia. Australia is more than willing to get people that can actually get something done. But I think we're starting to see slowly the rats leaving a sinking ship in South Africa. None of what they're doing is ever going to work. It hasn't in 6,000 years of recorded history. You can pretty much put a fork in it if you hear communism. It is not going to work very long. Even socialism works only as long as maybe you've got lots of North Atlantic oil that's free. As soon as that runs out, like it is now, you find out you got, like Mr. Buffett says, you can only see who's swimming without a bathing suit when the tide goes out. So anyway, the whole idea that the socialist communist government down there was ever going to work, just knew it was eventually going to happen. But we're starting to see more and more people out there. My big point here is that you probably don't want to be in anything in South Africa. It just looks like every week I find something else out here that tells me that we're slipping back into something that just doesn't work very well. My guess is that we will see some, if not all, of those gold mines eventually nationalized. And just, if you got something good, why mess with it? De Beers is the biggest cartel. It makes the OPEC people look like paupers. These guys have been able to keep the price of diamonds about 10 times higher than they should be. De Beers is going to be selling these knockoff man-made diamonds, which, by the way, are perfect. The company that actually came up with the process, the first process anyway, was down in Sarasota, Florida. And De Beers went with a suitcases, probably not even suitcases. I'm going to say truckloads of money to go after that company to make sure that they weren't selling diamonds to anybody else. That process has mostly been used to make diamonds for industrial purposes so far. But I don't know if people are old enough, and certainly I'm not old enough. I just remember being told about it. There was a big deal with margarine and butter, and the people that were the dairy people got the Congress to pass a law that they couldn't put any yellow food coloring in margarine. So it looked like this horrible green goop that no one would buy. Eventually, they got rid of that. I think right after the war or during the war, because there wasn't enough butter at all, so they had to kind of give in. I think that's kind of roughly the thing. There's kind of the same thing. They made these people over the last 20 years put in a color front to make these diamonds look a little different. You can tell with severe magnification the difference, but that's because actually these diamonds are basically perfect. De Beers has been working on its own process that they wouldn't have to pay these guys off in Sarasota, Florida with. I think they're in Sarasota, maybe a little south of Sarasota. I remember when they first came out with it. But my guess is the only way you would do this is one, that there was a big problem with these guys with the process, and they're actually gaining lots of business. My thought, though, is every time I look around and I see another company leave or people leave, just makes me think that probably you're not going to have a big future in South Africa in the near time. If you wanted to be in gold, I'd probably be outside of it. This is actually, if it does happen, a good thing for the miners in the rest of the world, because these guys don't have a good history. I mean, communists, a good history of keeping up production at a low price. Eventually, they'll not, fix the pumps. The mines will fill up with water, and guess what? The other mines will be in much better positions around the world. Just kind of random thoughts from me over the last 7 days that I've been gone. But it seems to me like I would probably want to be in places that are more politically stable than South Africa right now. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff going on from what I read. Yeah, women can tell the difference. I covered that. I had a bunch of people asking me. A lot of people. Yeah, a lot of other stuff going on around there, but just be well aware of it. Some things, a lot of times the news doesn't matter, but a lot of times, you could have probably told in 1936 that it was going to be war all over Europe. In fact, many people knew. A lot of people tried to ignore it, and it seems like it takes forever to actually happen, and then it seems incredibly fast when it does. So just some thoughts out there on De Beers and that, but I just continue to see a lot of this kind of stuff swirl around that area. What else do we have going on? A lot of people in the news had a lot of emails asking me about what's going on with Starbucks, and do I see anything happening, either good or bad, out of it? It's been kind of going sideways. I tell you what, as far as a PR plan out here, all I can figure out is, one, if you got to close your business and bring in people, to use the term that actually Stalin used, re-education, which makes you wonder anyway if these guys ever read a history book. It's kind of like using the final solution as a term. You probably don't want to get in there. So when these guys started mouthing off about re-education, I kind of remembered all those years from Stalin and his terms of political re-education. But I don't think that these guys are doing anything to make themselves any better off. I think that for a handful of people that are into Starbucks for whatever deal there is, maybe it doesn't matter. to the rest of the world, they bring in a guy that sings songs about cop killing. Probably not the best thing to do. Yeah, are a lot of people never going to hear about Mr. Common's wonderful songs about Black Panthers and cop killing? Probably not. But is that the guy you want to bring in to cool or calm the waters? Don't think so. The chairman at Starbucks has a lot of political aspirations. I don't suspect that they're going to do him any good. And I don't know, they say all press is good press. I don't think so. I knew a lot of people that already knew about what these guys were doing, and it just doesn't seem like it's a long road from there. When we get back, we're going to talk about Ambien, because that's in the press too. Then we're going to get into all the charts out here, and I think I'm all caught up from a week of being away.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Of course, everybody's heard about Roseanne, a show I never watched when it ran to begin with, and a show I never watched when it came back. She's blaming apparently the sleep drug from Sanofi for her outburst. And I would probably have dismissed it, except I've got two ladies that live on one a half a block up one way and one a block the other way, who have been hauled off in the last 6 months for one lady thought aliens had come into her house, and another one had come in and believed that they had leprechauns. So apparently, I don't know what the deal is, but these ladies are seeing small people and somewhat bizarre greenish colored. And I guess one thought it was that. So I'm wondering if there is this Ambien, if there isn't something to it. I know at least two people that have been hauled off and put into 72-hour holds just on my block. Now, additionally, that's I know that that's anecdotal, but just my personal experience. Anyway, the CEO came out and said there's absolutely no way that could happen. But I know both of them do. Apparently, this drug has a real problem if you don't drink enough water. And one of the side effects is that you don't feel very thirsty, so you don't drink enough water. And then this thing can really affect you, Ambien. They show some really nice pictures of ducks all kind of sitting around sleeping, and small puppies. And the ads are, the ads are very good. I don't know what else is going on in this. Kind of interesting to see it up, but it doesn't have much volume today. Last on the list is Disney. From the people I've talked to already, the new Star Wars series stinks. Not a real surprise. This is a movie that Ron Howard had to come in to kind of try to save after the first couple of months were on. Apparently, it was going to be a very good movie, but kind of dark. And the Disney folks didn't want that. They wanted something a little less adult. And the director said sayonara and left them, I think, a month or 6 weeks into shooting. Ron Howard came in and tried to clean up a mess. But apparently, the first half of the movie is slow and boring. And the second half is not that much better. So you got a little problem with Disney besides having Roseanne and ABC's. It's the money where they've really thrown huge money, which they spent $4 billion for the Star Wars franchise, may have lighter or shorter legs than they thought. Now, one of the things that I've always wondered about is Walt Disney's ability to carry the multiple. Since I was in that business for a long time, what you find out is that the multiple on most of these kind of production businesses for content is that their multiples are pretty low because they get a lot of losers, and they'll get them a lot of them in a row. And that's generally what kills them. They'll have 4 or 5 years. They'll leave it alone. And then the executives can't help but get in there and stick their finger and try to justify their existence. Instead of hiring the people, like my boss used to say, he said, don't hire 7 people to jump 1 foot. If you want a high jumper, just hire one guy to jump 7 feet. And it kind of always stuck with me. But there was a horrible thing then, and it still exists, and that is that everybody that's in the executive part of the business thinks that they're creative, thinks that they're funny, and they get in and start molesting the creative part of this business. And that's why you have so many stinkers out there. But you know what? This thing's just barely holding 100. I think we see 97.68 on this. Next few weeks of the movie's probably not going to be any good. So they did a little over 100 million. I think they almost made the money back, but they're not going to make the 400 or 500 million that they thought out here. So this one, you already have energy kind of off the top. That 97.68 comes in, and I'm thinking it takes. They're going to have at least 4 decent pilots to make up for the people that were watching Roseanne, just to break even on that part, much less the cord cutters at ESPN. I just don't like this part of the business. Never have liked being an investor in movies or content, because eventually you do run into these dry spells, and it just seems like no matter what these companies do, they never can get out of it. Can I move to your neighborhood? Apparently, if you want Ambien, but I don't know. It's always kind of interesting. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and you can put a message in the den. But I think those are the ones all in the news that are there. But I've never been one to be a big investor in content, just because it runs so hot and cold. Let's take a quick look at Netflix. Netflix, I got rid of after Christmas. Don't really see a lot of difference. I don't know what changed. They had a couple of good years where they had a lot of stuff that I liked. They've had a long run of stuff that I don't. Did watch one thing on Netflix over my vacation, and I thought it was very poor. And my question is just, when does that catch up? They've got a handful of things. They used to have really great things like HBO, but I think they're kind of slipping. This thing, not doing that much today, fairly light volume. I don't know how much pullback you could get. The real question on this is how well they're going to do overseas. And one reason why I don't short it, I'll guarantee I won't be long it, but why I wouldn't be short is, they got a lot of stuff that's been around for a while. They're subtitling a lot of that stock. They went into 35 new countries. This is going to be new for a while. The question is, after a couple of years, how well are these guys going to do? And as they're spending a lot of money overseas, they're apparently not spending the money on new content over here in the United States. And again, over time, it's only generally a matter of time, these studios tend to run into a bunch of stinkers. I think Netflix has had some ones where they've thrown a lot of money at people. I'm trying to remember the gal that used to be on E has some show that literally nobody watches, and they paid her $20 million. I can't remember now. She had some kind of snarky show with comedians. I kind of liked the show. She didn't do anything. She would just pipe up every once in a while and let the comedians actually carry it, why she was supposed to be a comedian. I can't remember her name right now. Maybe someone will say so in the den. But Netflix had a lot of these projects came out. They're just not as good as they were in the last few years. I think they're just looking at the rest. Anyway, we'll talk about the energy on this last leg up, which is why I'm kind of looking with very jaundiced eyes at Netflix. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global flexible perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Okay. Well, we got Salesforce on the docket here. Earnings got it to 132.55. A lot of volume, ran some shorts early in the morning. The real question is whether or not this can close below 128.87, which is the March 14th high. Tried to get into it with lighter volume back through the 11th of May. Popped right back up. It's back under those highs. What's the 129.98? So it's got about $1. If this thing rolls back under either today or tomorrow, back $1, it's back into the trading range. Wanted to get back to Netflix real quick. By the way, I see a lot of those stocks like CRM that are rolling today, so we'll keep an eye on it. The indexes still look good. So a lot of individual stocks do not, though. I think we're seeing the ability to differentiate the wheat from the chaff, if you've ever been a farmer. Anyway, we were talking about Netflix, and I forgot about this part. It's had some really strong legs up in my Power Law Vector indicator. And the one that I wanted to bring out here was the April 4th to the April 18th high, had an 8.5 on it, 8.6. The one from April 25th up to the high yesterday had a 4.8. So there just is no juice except this one day, the 23rd. You had about 10 million shares, but that was about it. That's not even the 11 million shares you had on the 18th. And that's all going against the 20 million share high of March 12th of 2018. So pretty light volume on these things, going a little higher up here. As I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see people like me dropping here in the United States as they tend to focus on the rest of the world. And that rest of the world's probably going to be pretty expensive to get into. So it may take a couple of years for these guys to get their mojo back as they work on the rest of the world, maybe spend a little bit too much time on the rest of the world. I have another question about TLT. So we'll look at that real quick. Is this a flame out? Man, did we get down to that low? Almost. The 115.75 February 21st low came in with 12 million shares. We got down there for 13 million shares. The energy has been fairly strong up here. There is a theory that a stop clock is right twice a day, and even blind squirrels will find a nut every once in a while. And one of the guys that was probably one of the worst market timers of all time, not George Granville, Granville, had a theory. I listened to all these guys. I try to use what works and forget what they tell me that doesn't work. The one thing that he had, besides me actually installing a stereo in his house once, long before I was ever thinking of looking at the stock market or just getting into the computer business, was he had this thing that I learned. I guess it was I'm gonna have to say it was early in the 2000s, maybe 2003, 4, or 5. Anyway, he had this thing where he was always talking about everybody goes to the back of the Titanic, but the ship's sinking anyway. And his theory was that everybody would go to bonds just before the market started heading down. And one of the best reasons, and one of the reasons why I am fairly bearish here, as long as the market does not go very much higher than this, is the way that the bond market is. His theory was everybody runs into the bond market right before the market turns, and it's one of the best signals that you can get. We saw it in 2007 and 8, and I think we have it here too. I'm not expecting us to go back down to the lows of whatever 679 or whatever it is on the S&P. I do think though that we could have a pullback all the way through July, the 4th 3-day weekend, and it's all kind of starting around here. So the question is that TLT this a last move up here? I think yesterday we certainly had a exhaustion move. You saw it in the volume. You saw it in shorting. This went back over the previous high. So with 20 million shares. So at best, you go sideways for a while. At worst, this thing does come back at you. And I've just, you kind of saw it in early 2000, right before gold took off. You also saw this in 2007 and 8, when everything started heading down. Everybody piled into the TLT. I had a car I wanted to sell in 2008. And as soon as I started seeing the bonds move really jiggly, I put the thing in the paper because I knew that if I waited another few days, that car was going to sell, or even a couple weeks, that car was probably going to sell for a whole lot less. And I was a little early. It took about 6 weeks before interest rates really changed on used cars. I think it would have really affected what happened. But I was thinking about selling it already. And when I saw this, I said, you know what? This is the time to sell. They're not going to react that quickly, and the bank's going to react a little bit. And I sold it. Pretty glad I did at the time. What else do we have out here? Got some more emails. Let's look at some of these other stocks that are up, testing highs or lows. Alibaba, been watching this. This thing gapped down on the 1st of February, did so with 52.5 million shares, got into it with 33 million shares on March 15th. It's back up here going sideways. Spiked it yesterday with 21 million shares. Today, kind of up on 11 or 12 million shares. A lot of patterns like this. And that's why I'm saying that there are a lot of stocks with very good risk reward parameters at being at these highs. Got a question to look at Microsoft real quick. I got to 99.25 today, a little off that. My guess is that we probably do see $100 on this probably tomorrow, certainly by Wednesday. When these things are up there this close, it's going to hit it. The question is, what do you want to do for volume on this? I just don't see anything probably new coming from Microsoft this summer that changes a lot about what they're doing. So I don't know. My guess is this thing could go over $100 and then come back down to 90 and just consolidate in there. If I was going to be short a technology company, this would be the one that I wanted to short the least. Also have a question about Boeing. This thing's not as much as it had up here. Certainly the energy off this 309 low on March 28th is not what it was on the way down. I had a 4.8 on the way down, got a 3.5 on the way up. Could this still hit 369, 370 and test that February 28th high? I think you certainly would want to see that. I think it's probably going to happen. We'll be back in a minute.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Got 2 minutes, so I'll go ahead and talk about it. I don't see a extension to 2,800 on the S&P cash because just see too many stocks up here, like we were looking at CRM, that aren't having any money. Now, can I change my opinion if we do get the volume? Yes. I just see a whole lot of stocks really setting up. Like I said, I already pulled the trigger on a couple that I'm short on today that look like exhaustion moves to the high or side. So it's going to give me, I think, about a week to go sideways on these things or lower before the market pulls back. But let's go back to Nassim Taleb's book, Fooled by Randomness. Talks about in there about how he's in a meeting one day and he's got a bunch of traders around the trader desk and they all ask him, what do you think is going to happen? He says, I think the S&P is going to go 30 points higher in the next 2 weeks. And I think there's an 80% probability of that. But I'm going to be buying puts here. And he said, how can you do that if there's 80% probability? Well, I think there's 80% probability it's going up 30 points, but a 20% probability that's going down 150. And, you know, if you're buying options, that's the way you've got to look at it. So I think this kind of could be a coin flip up here. My thought is, though, that there are 500 stocks that I could pull out and show resistance levels just slightly higher, and a lot of them with gaps lower, and a lot of them with movements out of probably early May that have gone up on a light, if almost no volume. So I suspect that at best we go sideways, a little higher. At worst, we actually do have some kind of sell-off. I don't know where it's going to come from, but even though this is a one-day thing with the bonds, I've seen that play before, and I don't like it. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.